awesome guest with us. First, of course, I have our co-host J&J Video, who is the technological genius who sets this all up for us.
I don't know about
And
all that, but
say hello. And also our mind expert here. And then I've got actually the star of today's show, my guest who I'm so excited to speak to, Mr. Marc Samuel. He actually has an amazing transformation, plants4Mations story that we really are so excited for him to come on and talk about and just tell you his journey and how this plant based lifestyle has changed his life. Welcome, Marc. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for allowing me to share my journey. I feel like it's something that we don't often think about, but can help every one of us, no matter where we are.
Absolutely. We are all different
absolutely.
parts of our journey.
Mhm.
So if you would
Tell us how
like,
you yeah.
I am
Go
going to
ahead, Jen.
hunt for appropriate backgrounds. If I'm shifting around, it's not an earthquake. I apologize. Um, I grew up in a religious home that believed in vegetarianism. There's a strong health component to that religion. And so I grew up as a vegetarian. And then as I got older, I kind of strayed a little bit and I began to eat everything, which is fantastic because I love food.
Right.
But um, I started slowing down in college. And it turns out that we did a lot of tests to figure out why I just wasn't performing up to power. Meaning, as much as I put energy into something, whether it was schoolwork or my job or career, I really wouldn't get as far as I wanted to. And I was quite athletic. I used to race bicycles. I would eat like 7 meals a day. I have a huge appetite and high metabolism. So I would just eat
Wow.
food and food and food, right?
hmm
But I wasn't able to kind of get ahead, and that was disconcerting. So we did a lot of tests. First thing was to test for mono because I had mono when I was younger. And it wasn't that.
Thank goodness, right?
Well, it was worse
Uh-oh.
because I didn't have insurance at the time. And but my family they're all doctors and medical professionals. So I would get top professionals that were friends with my relatives to check me out. And I would, get the chief internist or the chief cardiologist or the chief neurologist at these major hospitals all over the nation to check me out and say, hey, we don't know why your heart is racing, or we don't know why you have this ailment. And it took 13 years before I walked into an ER in Connecticut that the triage nurse said, hey, isn't that Lyme disease?
Wow.
13 years of kind of stolen from me, where I was wanting to start a career. I was wanting to conquer the world. And finally, I had an answer. But then I didn't get better. I got better a little bit, but not all the symptoms went away. And I went back a little later, and the tests showed, the way the doctor explained it was, like, you definitely have had Lyme's, but we don't know if it's chronic or it's not active. It could be chronic, but it looks suspiciously similar to the active MS that we found.
Wow.
So I had both of those things.
Goodness.
And they're both very similar symptoms, but blood test confirmed Lyme's, and MRIs and lumbar puncture said definitely MS. I was dealing with all of those things.
Wow.
But at least I had an answer because my life had been stolen from me. And
that's the worst part, isn't it? Not knowing.
It really is, because I didn't feel like there was anything I could do.
Right.
And I was slowly but surely getting farther behind. And my diet reflected that, because I did not have the job that I wanted. And as a craftsman, I wanted to start my own company, but I didn't have the wherewithal or the resources to do that. I had the desire, but I didn't have the energy. And which meant that I would skimp on food. I would eat unhealthily, fast food. Taco Bell was my favorite.
Love Taco Bell.
I used to.
That was one of my old favorites too. Not so much anymore.
There were times in my life when my finances did not jive with my living situation, and I had to shift way, way back in what I ate. And not just the quality of what I was eating, but the amount of food. Because you could say that there have been many occasions where I've been intentionally homeless, whereas I don't feel like paying for an apartment, so I just live in my car, or I live at work, or wherever. I don't care. I'm young, it doesn't matter. But there was a time when I had a really good paying job, and I lost it because I didn't have the energy to go forward. And so at some point, I found myself living in my house that the bank had foreclosed on, because that's what banks are supposed to do when you're not paying your mortgage. So I'm living in my own foreclosed house. Sometimes I had power, sometimes I didn't. I wasn't making money. I wasn't well enough to make money. I would afford myself one burrito every other day.
Wow, Mark.
Like my cat ate better than I did. And it got to the point where I felt like, I was just staring at my dark bedroom ceiling, because that's what you do when you don't have energy and you don't have money. And I had lots of friends and family, and I still do, that love me. And if they had known the depths of my despair, they would have immediately jumped to help. But I was kind of battling by myself and just depressed and not wanting or not able to function intellectually or with my spirit or physically. So I was just kind of in a really dark place. And there came a point where I decided, well, you either fight for your dreams or you just give up everything. And I chose the former. I'm like, I want to live, because the other option may have solved problems, but I kind of felt like I deserved it. I deserved for myself to fight, as well as the people that I affect. Right. I felt like it would be incredibly selfish if I just gave up and disappeared. That I feel like all of our missions in life is we affect others. We affect those around us.
We're all connected.
And so the whole point is to positively influence those around me. And I felt
Mhm.
like if I just gave up and disappeared, then
That wouldn't be fair to everybody else, right?
it's a breach of my understanding of what life is.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness you had that, and that you're here.
Well, it gets more interesting because I decided to leave my house in Connecticut and uh, head back to family and start anew. In Connecticut, I had been taking interferon for my MS, and that entails injecting myself deep tissue injection with
Wow.
every week. And my symptoms, you know how everybody's afraid of the COVID vaccine?
Yeah.
It makes you achy and feels like
Right.
flu. Yeah, that was me every week for
Oh
at least
man.
48 hours. So I got to the point where I was guzzling. I had a routine. And it's not fun to inject yourself with a needle that's that big. But
No, probably not.
plus, when you know that the symptoms are pretty crappy, that's accompanying that.
Right.
Uh, so I would have a routine where I would just guzzle NyQuil like I owned stock in the company, 30 minutes before my injection, so that when the NyQuil started taking effect, or the Dayquil, or I knew the nuances for each of the cold and flu medications. Um, if I wanted to stay awake, I would take this one. If I wanted to go to sleep, I would take this one. But by the time the medicine was starting to take effect is right about when the symptoms would start in. And like I was doing this for years, and it the medicine was doing exactly what it promised, which is stabilize and retard the growth of the disease,
Right.
which meant that I was getting worse just at a slower rate, and that I would have these terrible symptoms every week, self-inflicted symptoms. And that just really wasn't good enough for me. Thought, so I completely quit that. But MS doesn't spontaneously disappear. And I started to do a lot of research as to what I can do to get rid of this MS. And I found amazing work done by, there's an Italian doctor whose wife had MS. And he's a vascular surgeon. So he attacked the problem from his perspective and his
Mm-hmm.
experience.
Mm-hmm.
And he found that there were mineral buildups in the um, in the brain, in the neurons, that if he attacked the problem from a vascular point of view, he would open up the blood vessels and let the minerals drain, and then the white blood cells would stop attacking the brain, which is
Mm-hmm.
what MS is. MS is my own immune system attacks my nervous system for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, oh, that's interesting. And I found lots of different approaches, lots of different anecdotes. But when I discovered a plant-based way of dealing with things, a light bulb went off in my head, and it was a kind of gestalt realization. I immediately quit all medication, and I cold turkey.
Now
But
that's not an easy thing to do.
it was incredibly easy because I owe it to myself.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
well,
what I'm saying, doctors are always telling you never quit medicine cold turkey, and that's just because they want to keep you fed in the system sometimes. Some
right,
doctors anyway.
yeah, no, I have doctors right now who want to prescribe a IV drug that's not even designed for MS, but it cost $1,000 a dose.
See, that's ridiculous.
Wow.
Look at that. Look at that.
I'm supposed to get 4 doses a year, two double doses a year. And so that's like
$24,000.
Right. That's why they want me on it. Not that it actually helps the disease at all. It's just that it costs a boatload. And, it doesn't hurt the disease, so we're going to keep you on this for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
That's what they want to do.
I think that's one of the things that we were discussing yesterday
that
too.
is
It's
a
a
hustle.
shame.
That is such a hustle. I mean, I know you have a lot of family that are doctors and things like that. So I'm not saying this against them at all. And I don't want to offend any doctors out there. Not saying that medical treatment isn't right for some people, and we're not medical professionals. Let's put that disclaimer out there. But, a lot of people that know me know I'm a cancer survivor. Once that was handled, I ran as fast as I could away from any type of treatment. And I've been cancer free for almost 20 years with no medical treatment, no follow-ups, nothing.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
And I have lived my life virtually normally, aside from the vision issues that I have. And no reoccurrence, none of that. And I truly believe that had I let the system, we'll call it, run around in my head and get me on all of these medications and all of these treatments and things like that, I wouldn't even be here now. There's no doubt.
You probably would, hooked up to medication.
Yeah.
So I watched Forks Over Knives, and there was just a couple of lines that said there's a sweet spot where they will keep you on medication for the rest of your life. Because that's how they make their money. Healthy people don't pay. Dead people don't pay. So they're going to keep you sick, indefinitely.
That's the hustle.
Right. I just didn't want that for myself. So I view it as investing in myself. Like, I love ice cream. And there was a local ice cream place near my house in Michigan, and they knew me. And every day I would go in there and I'd order something different. They knew my order. It was basically 2 scoops of anything, make it fun. Mix and match, be creative. And every day I'd get different ice cream, and they loved me. I went back there after after I'd been plant-based for a couple of years. And it was wonderful to see everybody. The owner ran out, took her apron off, ran out from behind the counter, gave me a hug.
Wow.
I said, I am fantastic, but I don't eat ice cream anymore. I don't eat, it's like my health is doing a lot better. I don't eat sugar and I don't eat dairy. But it was nice to see her. I tried a spoonful or 2, and it just was way too rich, way too sweet.
Wow.
So for me, loving food, like, I've traveled a few places in the world, and I love trying new things. I grew up in an international community, so I'm no stranger to international food and fun, exciting, interesting cuisine. But I find that I taste food more now that I'm not eating sugar or animal products.
Right.
I find that with like
it changes your
salt,
palate.
it's the same. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I can't eat salt. Like, even when I do have chips, which I shouldn't, but even when I do, I have to get saltless Utz chips. They're the only ones that make them, because it's like it's way too salty once you get off of everything.
Well, yeah, our palates have changed, but I enjoy food more now than when I used to love food. It tastes better, and it's good for me.
Right.
When I switched to being plant-based, I was in bad shape. I couldn't walk down the hall to the bathroom without holding onto the wall or having a cane or a walker.
Wow.
And with me, symptoms come and go, but I was getting progressively worse. And within a few days of becoming strictly plant-based, I started to feel better. Just a couple of days, and I was feeling better. And then within a couple of weeks, I was walking on my own again. And now here I am, farther along in my journey, I can see out of both eyes. I've gotten memories back from when I was a child that I thought I had lost. I can taste. I can, at a certain point, I had lost every one of my senses.
Wow.
Touch, balance. I remember once I was speaking to my dad about a company that we had just started. And for the life of me, I couldn't remember. I knew we had started a company, but I didn't know what that company did. And from that point backwards, I lost all my memories. And it took a while, but now that my brain is functioning again, I've got my childhood back.
Good for
That's
you. Good for
amazing.
you.
And
That
that's
is
not on
wonderful.
medication. That is just from diet. I'm on 0 medication.
Woo!
That is so what I don't
That
think
is
people
absolutely
realize
amazing.
that our bodies actually not only do they react to the good stuff that we're putting in the plants and everything, but they also it's like I was trying to explain this to someone before. There's the saying that we have lactose intolerant people. Well, like I heard Dr. Mills say this once, everyone is really lactose intolerant. Everyone is not supposed, like the way that our bodies are scientifically designed. When I saw that, it clicked. We're eating something that is foreign to our body that we are not supposed to have, and
Agreed.
it's like amazing when you put the right stuff in, take the other stuff out, and so quickly. Like you said, I felt changes within a couple of weeks myself.
Mhm.
Rick, who was on here last week, said the same thing. It was like immediate. It doesn't even take years or months.
Mhm.
That's one of the best things about going plant-based. And if you couple that with a little bit of fasting, which is what I'm doing right now.
Mhm.
I just started a fast today, and just one day of not eating anything and just clearing, letting it jump starts your body into the healing process. Okay. So if you get your body started without putting any food in it so that it doesn't have to digest and all of that, your body begins to heal and repair itself.
Mhm.
And then when you start the refeeding process, which of course you got to, make sure you're careful with that, you go on a plant-based, you're set. You are absolutely set. And I'm going to go a long term with this one. You know what I mean? The longest I ever fasted was 20 days, so I'm going to try to top that. But plant-based, Jen started me eating salads a couple years ago.
Mhm.
And I'm telling you, I've noticed a difference since I stopped eating meat. I haven't eaten meat now in almost 2 years. And so pizza, everybody knows pizza is my weakness. But the last pizza I had was probably a few weeks ago. So that's the only dairy. I don't, if I drink milk, it's going to be like almond milk or something like that. Plant-based butter. I don't, that's the only thing that I have an issue with, which I no longer have an issue with. I'm living in the moment. So I don't have an issue with that anymore. It's been weeks since I've had pizza. So, it's a daily journey. That's the thing. It's a daily journey. And I'm so proud that you did not accept your fate that they tried to tell you it was. You took it into your own hands and you said, I'm not going to resign myself to that. First off, it starts mental, it's
Mhm.
not just a physical thing. It starts in the mind first. You have to have the wherewithal and the mental fortitude to say, no, I'm not going to allow that to happen, because the body also needs healthy thoughts and healthy vibes for that healing process to work even more smoothly. So for you to do that, that was amazing. And I'm so glad you did it.
Thanks. I feel like there's so much I want to contribute, and selfishly, I'm going to conquer the world. And
you have the mindset to do it. You're conquering MS, and
for
that's
years I was dreaming of it. Like that's all you do is I'm sitting alone in my bed, staring at a dark ceiling, trying to figure out what if I could, what would I want to do? What do I fantasize about? And I really there's so much I want to do. And I feel like why sell myself short and all the people that I affect? That's just selfish. So,
And that's what we were talking about also is just the fact that you were, you know, like kind enough to come on here and talk to us not only but to be able to put this out there. And one of the things that you're doing is letting other people know how you were able to transform yourself just by making that one change. And it's like people are always like, what do you eat? But you don't realize you can eat a lot and a lot of good stuff. It's not like a restrictive diet the way that I feel about it. I eat more than I did honestly when I was not plant based. I just eat the right stuff.
yeah, I found that too. There is no loss of 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 amazing food available. I mean, even fast food, I can go to any number of places that aren't heavily processed. Like I can go to Panera. It's not ideal, but I can get salads without any oils, without any um, dressing. I mean, and it's really good. I can go to Qdoba or Chipotle. I can get Beyond Meat substitutes on brown rice, black beans, fresh cut veggies,
I got hooked on
guacamole.
those sofritas. Is that what it is at Chipotle before? That's pretty
Yeah,
good. They're like plant based meat
yeah.
substitute. If
There
you're at,
are there are lots of places. Every day, I'm kind of an addict, but I go to Smoothie and I can get for $8. I get 1,400 calories of plant-based awesomeness with extra vegan protein because I use that as a shake before I go to the gym. You know, it's just
right.
for $8, and it's all there's zero sugar. It's all I mean, you can see the ingredients right there that they put in. It's amazing. And if I was smart, I just buy the ingredients and do it at home. But I'm lazy. And Smoothie King. It's
right. I don't think we have one of those here, Don. We need to find a Smoothie King. I was just saying that we don't have too many options here, but hopefully there are more popping up. I wanted to say also thank you to everybody for tuning in.
New media. I see the guys down there, DZ, Self Made, Ball Don't Lie podcast. Thank you guys for coming through.
Thank you all so much, and we're definitely gonna be thankful that all of you are here and anyone else that's tuning in for the first time. It is amazing to be able to put these stories out there and to this one is just this is amazing, Mark. I mean, really to find out where you were and what like the changes you made and to be able to do it so quickly you know
I've noticed that a lot of my vegan friends have the same story.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are many different reasons to be vegan, but they all interplay and interconnect with all the other reasons. So you might be vegan for the animals, for the humane,
Mm-hmm. For the earth.
but your health is going to improve and you're going to save the planet. And I became plant-based for my health, but environmentally it makes a lot more sense. And then if you just open your eyes, you're saving billions of innocent lives by being plant-based. I ran into somebody, an old boss of mine from when I was a teenager, And we got to talking, and she said, well, but I can't give up ice cream. I can't give up dairy. And I said, I look at it a little differently. Yes, that does taste nice, but I'd be more willing to accept those things, dairy and cheese, if they were made with human milk, because I'm a human. But I'm not a baby human, so I don't need baby food. And I'm certainly not a baby cow, so I absolutely don't need baby cow food. And that kind of, she never thought of it that way before.
Jen and I always make that joke about not being a baby cow.
And it's just, and in doing that, you're saving all those baby cows that don't get mother's milk.
Exactly. And you don't think about that. Like I remember someone telling me you just don't think that every cow is just like a milk producer. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
they just automatically make milk all the time. And it's like it's not the case. They are having to have an actual baby to be able to make that milk.
So just like humans, but they also go through, from what I understand, they also go through a 9-month pregnancy. So it's a huge investment in torturing a cow just to get milk.
I agree.
And it also means that that baby cow isn't going to get the milk that the mom's producing, because she's not feeding it to the baby, she's feeding it to us, or rather
Right.
humans are stealing it from her. So yeah.
And I
Jen was
think
telling me
that's
they actually impregnate cows just to get that milk.
They do.
See,
and
that's so
That's
cruel.
the whole
crazy.
industry. It's a commodity. It's an industry. They impregnate cows, they steal the babies away, and the boy babies aren't really much good. The girls can then go into the industry when they're old enough. The boys are,
Become veal.
if they make it that far.
Mm.
A lot of them don't even make it that far.
I
Wow.
remember saying too, this was like not the main reason, and I don't know. Like I think from what you said too, health was the main reason. For Dawn, the same thing. We went plant based to just try to I started initially to lose some weight, lower blood pressure, but over time, when you're in like the vegan groups and you're reading, or maybe you hear something like this, that you are listening to a video or a podcast, and you hear about the way that the animals are treated, it kind of adds like it's like the evolution of the journey where you then start finding reasons that your heart gets in it. Because I'll, like you said, if it's my health, I know some things aren't healthy. Potato chips, maybe I shouldn't have them, they're fried, but I'll do it every now and then. But once it becomes like I can't ever eat meat or dairy just based on that ethical reason, now that I know what happens to the animals, and that helps, honestly, you stay motivated. Like I saw a video to what you were talking about of a cow chasing after the baby that was put into the truck, and I think
Oh man, you're
everybody's
gonna make
seen
me
that.
cry. Stop.
But that's what I mean. We don't want to like make people feel bad for what they're doing. I can't, because I was that person before I knew all this. I was for 42 years eating it out back. Like we get it, you know what I mean? But just for the benefits of your health and the animals, it's really good food that you can find. It's not like I'm ever hungry or I don't get good stuff. And there's, obviously good and bad brands of everything. But if you really have the right people that have probably tried it all, like us, we can tell you what's good, if you're interested in trying it for your health. We're just here to be that voice.
And it's all relative. I was telling Jen earlier, ecologically, they're clearing out rainforests just for animal agriculture, for them to have grazing land. Okay, the trees clean the air, guys.
Yep.
You take away the trees, that's why we have climate change. That's why we have global warming. Okay, it's all relative, you
And
know?
agriculture is the largest cause for climate change.
Yeah.
It dwarfs transportation because it takes so many resources to produce an animal, just thousands of calories for years until the animal's slaughtered. Well, you have to clear land for that. You have to get rid of trees for that. And all of those, all of the plants that the animals eat, we could be eating them directly.
Thank
We've got
you.
the
Cut
world
out the
starving.
middleman.
We're
Cut
getting
out the
secondhand.
middleman.
Yeah, we're getting second. So a lot of people ask me, I mean, this is changing subjects slightly, but a lot of people think that vegans don't get enough protein. Well, what they don't realize is all protein is plant-based, all of it.
Yeah.
The animal's eating the plants,
Right,
and then we're eating the animal.
right. Cows
Absolutely.
don't eat meat. They eat plants. That burger that you think is laden with protein, yeah, that's from plants.
Yeah.
That's why they eat plants all day. They're
Yeah,
getting their protein in,
all,
and
all the biggest, baddest animals, the strongest ones that you can think of, they're all vegetarian. So,
that's why it's all relative, and you touched on this with the pharmaceutical industry. Like the doctors are kind of get kickbacks from the pharmaceuticals that it's all kind of becomes a business, but not to say there's not doctors out there who are wanting to heal. But I think the way that they're brought up through the medical system, they are told to do things one way, and that's how they have to do it, just like we all have to follow some type of rules for our job when we're being paid. It's the same as the cycle where they want you to believe milk does a body good. They want you to believe you need protein. And when people look at you like you're crazy when you say you're vegan, and they're like, "How are you going to get protein?" Or "Are you sure you're not gonna, are you going to be okay?" You know what I mean? Not
Like I'm taking the
realizing.
middleman out. I'm going straight to the protein.
so I've got friends, vegan friends that are bodybuilders. They're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They're, they win competitions. Kind of amazing. I've got vegan friends that are athletes. And even myself, I've gotten stronger by eating healthily than I
Mm-hmm.
ever did just by exercising and, on the poor diet that I had before.
There are a lot of NBA players that are vegan now.
There are a lot of everything. Like the very top of sport, if you want to get good, really good, push your body to its ultimate, then you go plant-based.
What is the T.Collin Campbell Center? We've got the link in the description for that. Can you tell us about that?
So I was first introduced to veganism through Forks Over Knives. And T.Collin Campbell and Dr. Esselstyn were the two doctors featured. They were independent and they did their own research for decades before they met each other. And they realized that their research dovetailed and correlated. And they both came up with the same answer. They researched the China study, which was embarked on over a decade or a couple of decades of research for all provinces of China. So you've got this tremendous body of research that these guys were able to delve into. And there's scientific backing that says, that shows the different types of diet and the correlating illnesses. So Forks Over Knives was a huge influence for me, and the T.Collin Campbell Institute, he's one of the doctors in that. The other doctor, Dr. Esselstyn, I've actually met him. I just moved down here from Connecticut, and his son and daughter-in-law live up there. We have several vegan groups in Connecticut, and we're all a tight-knit community. Um, the Dr. Esselstyn's daughter-in-law belongs to a medical community that has seen the light. And these are actual MD doctors and actual LPNs and other medical professionals that went beyond what they've been fed by the medical industry and what they've learned from the pharmaceutical industries and gone to the core of what causes things or how to help things. And so there's actually plant-based clinics springing up all over the place, staffed by actual doctors who understand the medical science behind it.
What
That's
is
the most
plant?
exciting thing.
What's planting the seeds of change? Tell us about that.
The links that I shared today, um, there are several rabbit holes of information that you can go down, and the deeper you get into them, the more you find out about the community, about the healthful benefits. If you Also, it'll take you into the ethical side and the environmental side of things. But if you follow, and those are just a couple of sites, there are a million of them. Those are just two of them that off the top of my head that I put up. But if you just start poking around and reading their links and looking at their cookbooks and listening to their experts and comments, you learn so much. My mom was excited to learn how to cook a plant-based diet, and I'm in an Indian household, so we're not too far from it anyway. But there are free cookbooks available online, free recipes that are super simple and amazingly tasty. I mean, that's a great place to start. And those sites that I've put up there are just the start of finding out information. There are a million more sites, and I could start listing them all, but those two are good to start with.
Those links, anybody who's in the chat, or even if you're not in the chat, if you happen to be listening to this, those links to both the T.Collin Campbell Center and Planting the Seeds of Change are in the description of this video. Feel free to click on those links and explore.
And one of the things that I think was most beneficial to me, and Dawn can even attest to this, when I first went plant based, I would go into the kitchen and I was actually raw vegan at first. So it would take a while to make the salad because I'd make this huge salad. And while I was doing that, I made it a point every night to watch one, two, three, however long, how many I could. I was just so interested and into the information. I would just YouTube healing from a plant-based diet or Google search, benefits of a plant-based diet. And it was just amazing. Like I had so much motivation just from watching YouTube videos and learning about different YouTubers and doctors. Like he said, there's a place called Physician or an organization, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. We're like Dr. Barnard, and there's so many great doctors that are part of that too that have a website. And then our friend that's on the same group that Mark and I are on, that I run has a site, Deb, who is called vegancouragement.com, and she literally has links to all of the, like, not all, but like a lot of the really good videos that you can watch if you're starting out. And like, there's so many movies like Game Changers, What the Health. You talked about Game Changers before, Mark, that's a really good one.
What did it for me was Forks Over Knives. Super simple, and it just lays it out there, and it says if you get rid of what's causing the inflammation, if you get rid of the things that are feeding the diseases, then your body takes over and is fully equipped to do the rest.
Absolutely. What is Forks Over Knives? Is that a documentary? Is that on YouTube?
Yeah, it's a documentary. It is on YouTube.
Okay.
It's
Netflix, I think, too, has it, but for YouTube, there's a lot of free info, and they have a website that has all kinds. Like every time I'll Google how I healed diabetes or how I healed this or that with a plant-based diet, I get an article from Forks Over Knives. They also have a lot of great like testimonial on their website.
And that's what started it for me. It's very simple. It lays it out there plainly. It shows you the science, but also there are real humans with real results. So it's anecdotal, and you can watch in real time as these people try the diet, and you can see their results, and it explains why. And it just made sense to me. I'm the kind of person that no matter what it is, I'd like to understand the root cause of whatever the issue is. And with most diseases, with most ailments, there is a root. And if you get rid of the inflammation or what's feeding that disease, just get out of the way, let your body do the rest and heal. I've got so many friends that have had profound and debilitating illnesses that have completely turned it around going plant-based.
And Dawn, you say this all the time too. The body was meant to heal itself. We were just saying that earlier.
Definitely.
And you have to just give it what it needs. If you're putting things in it that are stifling that or causing inflammation, it's not going to happen. And like, it just, when you find something good that works for you, you want to tell everyone else. And like, I'm like, is this just me? But as the more I Google things, why did my back pain that I've had since a teenager go away? Why did my allergies just go away after a month of being plant based? Why did I not get, like, when you talked about the NyQuil and DayQuil, like the bronchial issues and things gone? You know what I mean? Like, those things went away and my energy went up. Like, even what you mentioned too, even though yours was lowered because of the, like chronic illness you were dealing with, it still will bring your energy and your focus so far up. It's like you just want to go tell everybody about it. And I think that's one of the things, because as humans, we're compassionate. We don't want to see other people suffer. And if you're in a situation where you're, feeling like, okay, I have this and I have to live with it, you really don't. And what does it hurt to try? Do it for 30 days and see if you make any changes, and maybe it'll help.
I have a friend that I've mentioned that I invited them to a vegan potluck. And she said, I selfishly started eating plant-based to lose weight, and that happened, but I have so much more energy, and I think more clearly now too. It's like, I mean, even if one was to do it just as for weight loss, you get all these other benefits in addition to weight loss while enjoying amazing food.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to starve yourself. You just have to eat correctly.
Correct.
Eat good food and eat a lot of it, and you'll still lose weight because you're not eating the crap that's going to sit in your body and cause those problems.
Absolutely.
That is one of the things I think is so funny because I feel like I eat so much, but like Dawn does her extended fast, I do like an intermittent fast every day where I feel like I just have more energy. I've just gotten used to that. And it works for me. So I eat like one meal a day, but that meal has like all of my calories. So I'm literally eating for almost sometimes like an hour and a half, but or 2 hours even, but I have that time where I can eat so much good stuff and everything is giving you fuel that's going in your body. That also feels good, to know that. And it's just a change in your habit. Like sometimes we get stuck on things, but after you get a new habit, like I go in the grocery store and I know exactly where I go for the plant-based stuff that I, eat and where I go for my veggies. It's the same as you go in right now and you go straight to the meat. You'll just make that change and you'll feel so much better if you can do it. And it's not any reason that we're asking you, you know what I mean? Like it's not like we're saying you have to do this, but I'm like when I hear a
I
story like Mark's, it remotivates me.
I feel like people ask me all the time, what, how did I give up food? How did you give up ice cream? How did you give up cheese? I couldn't give up alcohol or sugar or these other things that are really bad for you. I don't look at it that way. Like I actually gained tasting my food. I gained enjoying my food more. I gained not only connecting with my meal in a better way, in other words, without all the oils and fats, and it actually not only tastes better, but I also know that it's making me feel better. It's better for my body, in addition to the environment, in addition to the animals that it's saving. But I don't feel like I've lost anything. I used to enjoy ice cream. I used to enjoy omelets. I used to enjoy sushi. I don't feel like I've lost those things. I feel like I've gained better tasting food. I've gained more energy. I've gained health. My words with friends score has taken off. I mean, I was like, I'm just far more mentally engaged in everything, which is completely new perspective, revolutionized how I view the world.
That is absolutely amazing. And I'm so glad that you had the time to come on the show today and talk to us about it and, give us, basically a lot of the insight, you know, on how you did it, you know. It's it's always a gift. Every day is a gift. You know what I mean? And when you find ways to live better, it's not just about living, it's about the quality of life, you know?
That's true.
So
Absolutely. And I've heard
it's
you say that recently, Dawn JJ, about the food. I remember you saying, I don't need as much salt or as much dressing. Like once you started eating the raw salads,
absolutely.
it's like, wow, and I started liking the way avocados taste. I never could eat avocados before, but it's wild. Like you said, you taste the food. It's amazing. And Mark, thank you so much for, just coming on and sharing your experiences with us. Is there anything else you want to say, like before we get ready to close out?
I want to thank you guys because this is a beautiful platform, and it's a way for people to connect with others, to understand, and make their own decisions. But if anybody's free to contact me at any time. I don't know how that can happen, but you can ask Jen or Don, and they'll get in touch with me. But it's I really feel like connecting to the world larger than ourselves is the point of
Yes.
life. And
Yes.
so thank you so much for having this forum to be able to do that.
I
You
want to
are
thank
absolutely welcome.
you, and I thank New Media for helping us make this happen. I thank, and Dawn, J&J Video, thank you so much because you opened up this world of YouTube, kind of to me. And as soon as I saw the messages that we're able to put out and how many people you can potentially reach, I just want to thank you for allowing me to not only put my story out, but also these excellent, amazing stories like Mark's. And I hope we can help a lot of people. And thank you for bringing that into my life, Dawn.
You are so welcome, sweetie. You are so welcome. And thank you for convincing me to go vegan.
Yeah.
We'll
That's
help each
probably the
other.
greatest gift of all, you know?
And thank you for
So,
those amazing pictures of veggies in the back. It's making me hungry, right, in the background of this video. But
yeah,
this is
no, it's
again
it's
from
it's making me hungry too.
Amazing Plantz4Mationz. This is episode 2, and we hope to just keep these going. We had Rick McKeon last week, which thank you, Rick, for being on the show. He just had his book is now on Kindle. So if you want to check that out, if you still have, I'll get the links in the other description. And Marc Samuel, thank you so much. It has been amazing to talk with you, and we will definitely put in the description the links. Well, they're already there that he discussed, and some more resources if you do want to go plant based. And the group is called Veganowledge. If you want to come on there, and you can just interact with us, and you can be able to contact myself, Mark, and a huge like I think we're up to like maybe 330 members or almost 400. It's not a lot, but it's a lot of people that it's a nice community to be able to connect with people. So thank you all so much for watching. Mark, anything else or Dawn?
I'm hungry
Nope,
now.
other than and I am gonna be back doing my streams tomorrow, gang. I'll be on in the afternoon with the 50 laws 50 universal laws of reality. So I'm going to try to do a law for every day that I'm fasting. So tomorrow we're going to start with harmony. So feel free to check in and go through
What
that
time
with
is
me.
that going
Go
to
on this
be?
journey with me. That is going to be at 3 p.m. tomorrow.
3 p.m. And then tonight, I think New Media also has another show on.
Charlotte Hornets. We are live streaming on King Fuselet, the Charlotte Hornets game tonight, as usual. Let me make sure. Yeah, we
We
do it
have
all over
all
here, Mark.
kinds of things that is awesome about New Media. Like if you like sports, but even if you're a sports fan, you can maybe even get healthier at the same time by watching this.
Yep, it's going to be the Hornets versus the Lakers. So it's going to be a good game. So
Awesome. We'll
shout out
check
to
it out.
King
Tune in.
Fuse Lit. Shout out to DZ, Netta. Shout out to Self Made. Shout out to Tap Into.
Ball don't lie.
Love for Hoop Culture. Ball Don't Lie podcast. Sean Bless, Bartran, everybody. Thank you guys so much. We love you. And I guess we're out of here.
All right. Thanks again, Mark.
All
Enjoy
right.
your
Thank you.
dinner.
Okay. Bye.
Bye bye.